In this video, we're going to be showing you how to install the remote monitoring and management agent quickly and easily onto a device. So the first thing we want to do is we want to open up our browser and go to the SolarWindsMSP.com homepage. And then you can go up here to the top and choose Login. Choose the product we want to log into. In this case, it's the SolarWinds MSP Remote Monitoring and Management product. Go ahead and enter our username. It's going to ask us for our password. And that's going to bring us into our remote management dashboard. Now, for today's demo, I have set up the client A1 demo and the corresponding site agent test. And I just want to show you here, if I go into workstations, I have no agents installed on any devices yet within this client or site. So I'm going to go up to Agent, choose Download Agent. You'll see I have 4 options here. The first 3 are generic agents, so they're not going to include the client and site information pre-installed. It's also not going to go out and automatically detect which checks should be on the device. Now, some of those checks are like disk space checks, where it will automatically go out and look at the C drive, see how big it is, and create a check appropriately. It will see if there are any antivirus products on the device, add those checks appropriately, and then look for any services that are running on the device already and add the appropriate checks for those as well. So what I want to use is the download site installation package. That's going to allow me to create an executable that runs silently on the machine and will automatically put that device into the correct client and site and add the appropriate checks. So I'll click on that. You'll see I have 2 options, a group policy installer and a remote worker installer. Today we're going to use the remote worker installer because I just want to do a single device. The group policy installer is if I wanted to mass deploy this across a domain that I have access to and can do group policy installations through. So I'm just going to click Next after I read that. Now, because I had already selected the client and site over in the left-hand pane, it's automatically filled those into my form here. Now, the next thing I have to choose is the agent. Now, you'll notice I have 3 choices for agents here. The first one you'll see here is what we call the general availability agent. That agent is the current production agent. So that's what you want to be putting onto your client devices. The RC agent, the next one down, that agent is more of a beta or a test agent. It's what we release as soon as we have new features, new functionality, bug fixes, things like that, to give customers an option to test them in test environments, as well as possibly, under the recommendation of support, installing them on devices that might be experiencing the bugs that that agent version fixes. Now, you'll also know that we have a third option, that is the Agent version 9 Legacy Agent, and that is for Windows XP and Windows Server 2003 devices that don't support the newer technologies available to us in the Agent version 10. You can still use it to manage and monitor your Windows XP and Server 2003 devices. It just doesn't have the newest features of the Agent version 10. So in this case, I'm going to use the top one, the current release or general availability agent, and click Next. And like I said before, I want to use the remote worker installer because I'm just doing a single device. And I'm going to wait for that to download. And because it's a zip file, it is going to open up and expose to me the installer executable. And so I'll just go up to that and right click and choose Open. Now, this is a brand new unconfigured version of Windows 10, so it is going to come up with some of the system prompts, and so I'll have to get through those. But other than those system prompts, this installation is completely silent. And those system prompts are just going to depend on the version of Windows that you're using and the individual configuration, because obviously if you've turned some of that stuff off, you won't see those. Now, everything else, like I said, is silent in regards to this installation. So I'll come back to the dashboard, and this is where I'm going to see the results of that installation. Now, still have no workstations here, but if I go and I refresh this page, you'll see I now have the new agent has been installed on the device and actually communicated back to the dashboard already. You can see that I have a couple of features here that are in the process of being installed. If I roll over them, you'll see that yellow means pending. If you look down here in the south pane, you'll actually see all those checks that I was talking about. So it has automatically pre-configured all of those checks, including, if I go down here, you'll see, like I said, fresh out of the box Windows 10 installation. So it still just has Windows Defender on it, but it has added definition update checks for both the anti-spyware and the antivirus modules of Windows Defender. Now, if I go up here and do one more refresh, you will see that the remote background management feature has now been installed. And probably if I wait just a few more moments and do another refresh, now the take control feature is now fully installed. So in just a few minutes, I've installed an agent. It's already configured its checks for me. It's communicated back to the dashboard, and I now have all of these features that I predetermined installed, so I can start managing this device fully through the remote management dashboard.